welcome back to the Girly Girl Bookworm. So today I have my Spookathon wrap-up for you. Hopefully my vlog's already been posted at this point, so that you are probably seeing this on a Wednesday or Thursday. I'm not sure. I'm pre-filming it, so when you get it, hi from the past. So yeah, Spookathon was really fun. Of course, today is Monday, so it's the day after Spookathon, and it's so funny because, like, you have, like, nothing to vlog. And then today I came home and there were deer in my yard. I was like, why couldn't this have happened when I was vlogging? But yeah, I felt like it was a really good week. I got through 5.5 books, which is pretty good for me. I wasn't expecting to get through as much as I did. I did stray a smidge from the TBR just for one book. So the only 2 books that I did not get to were The Wife, the Maid, and the Mistress, but I kind of didn't think I was going to get to this one anyways, and The Luckiest Girl Alive, because I just ran out of time, guys. So I'm still impressed because there were 5 challenges, and I read 6 books, technically, 5.5. So I feel like I met at least the goal amount, even though there's no, like, you need to read 5 books or you need to read 6 books. Like, I feel like I at least, like, accomplished, like, a book per challenge, even if books didn't meet necessarily a challenge. So yeah, I'm just gonna get started and wrap you up. So the first book that I finished was The Long Walk by Stephen King. This book is going to be featured in a book haul, so you either just saw it or it's not up yet. And this, I had started this in the beginning of the month when I was in Maryland, and I put it on hold. I was like 50 pages in. I put it on hold because I had other things that I wanted to read when I got home. And then the readathon was about to start, so I was like, oh, I need to try to finish this. And I ended up getting halfway through before the readathon started. So I ended up finishing it on day 1 of the readathon, and I thought it was good. It's about it's kind of been like this dystopian world where they have, I felt like it was very Hunger Games vibe, where like 100 boys enter into this contest and are selected on television and all this to enter this like walking race, and you have to maintain a certain speed of 4 miles an hour. Yeah, so you have to walk 4 miles per hour, and if you don't maintain this certain speed that they want you to be going, they will give you a warning, and you can get up to 3 warnings, and after that, they kill you. But, like, you could work off warnings. So, like, if you're given a warning now, and you walk, I think it's, like, another mile, like, your warning goes away. And it follows, obviously, this one Maine boy who is living in Maine, and he wants to enter this, and we're just kind of following his journey through it. I felt like it started off really good, and then it got really slow, and then the ending kind of picked back up, but then it was just left kind of, like, in this place that I, like, wasn't sure how I felt about it. The ending was very, I mean, you're living through this whole, like, walking thing, and all of a sudden, like, the ending just didn't feel like it did the book justice. I don't know. I gave it 3 stars. I enjoyed it. I just didn't love it as much as I, like, wanted to, because I know there's a lot of people who, like, love this book, and I just thought it was okay. Nothing bad, nothing good, but it was good. Nothing bad, nothing good, but it was good. That made no sense. Nothing bad, nothing fantastic, but it was good. Then after that, I picked up The Cheerleaders by Kara Thomas. And this book was interesting too. I gave this book 4 stars. It follows a girl who, her sister in the past, like 5 years ago, committed suicide, but 4 other of her cheerleader friends had passed away too within that same month. And the whole time it's kind of grieving. It's coming up upon its 5th anniversary, and the sister decides that she thinks that there's more to than meets the eye. She doesn't necessarily believe that her sister killed herself. She feels like there might have been more to these murders. Somebody was arrested, but she feels like something's not right. So she's trying to go on this journey to, like, figure it out and right the wrong and, like, all this, and who do you trust, who do you not trust, and I found it very good. I gave it 4 stars. but it was definitely a slower paced novel. Lala also read this, and I felt like she was feeling kind of like the same things, where like it wasn't bad, but it wasn't fantastic. Like, I felt like there could have been something different, but I can't necessarily like put my finger on it. I thought it was interesting. The parents were very involved, but like not involved at the same time. The brother was interesting. I just felt like, yeah, it was alright. The ending was really interesting too. So, because she like meets this friend that she wasn't normally friends with, that kind of ties into this. And she was interesting. It was just interesting. Like, so if you're intrigued by it, I'd say get it, because it really kind of like makes you think, because I can't tell you much more about it. I don't want to spoil you, so I'm gonna leave it at that. 4 stars. That sounds so bad, but Lala describing it sounded very much the same way. I listened to an audiobook, and that was After the Eclipse by Sarah Perry. This is a nonfiction memoir about a woman whose mother was murdered while she was home, and she was a child, and she was home, she was sleeping in the other room when her mother is brutally murdered. And it alternates between before the murder and her talking about what she knows about her mother's past, what happened with her relationship with her mother before the death and murder, and then what happened after the murder. So before and after, and like how police treated her. They felt like she knew more to the story, which she really didn't. And just her trying to deal with it and grieve with it, and family members who didn't want her, and like just getting transported from home to home and being an adult and suddenly like dealing with it. They didn't catch the murderer for years, and just like that, dealing with that as a struggle. And I really enjoyed it. I did not give this a rating. I really don't like rating nonfiction. Well, not rating nonfiction, but like rating memoirs. There's been a couple memoirs that I've rated, but I feel like I hate that because I don't want to judge somebody's for their real life. Like, it was a very well written novel. As an audiobook, I totally recommend it. Mine is When She Screams. It's not fun to listen to. But I thought that it read like fiction almost. So it was like so crazy to think like, oh my god, this like actually happened. This is real life. So I don't like judging her for that, especially like her mother was murdered. How can you be like 5 stars? Your mother got murdered. Good for you. Like, that feels weird. So I recommend it. I think you should pick it up. I'm bummed that it took me so long to pick it up because it was actually really good and I had nothing to be worried about. So I recommend you check this out if you haven't already. The hiccups, man. What's going on? I picked up The Undead Girl Gang by Lily Anderson, and I feel like this is really funny because this is like around when I've been like talking about like booktube made me do it, and like this is like one of those books that I felt like was not going to be for me, but I was like, it sounds great, Hocus Pocus and like all this stuff, and why? I gave this book 3 stars. It was very weird. It's about a girl whose best friend commits suicide, and she believes that it's more than meets the eye again because other girls have also committed suicide in that same like week. She goes to, because she's Wiccan, she brings her friend back from the dead, and she actually brings back the other 2 girls, and it was interesting. I figure out how to say this without coming off sounding really bad. Do not scratch the chair. So they made a lot of weird references and things, and I understand it's a teenager's brain, but it was just like weird. They talk about how, I'm not trying to be crude, but like there's a part where they're describing this boy's face and how like he's really creepy, but then they were like, he's got lips that look like a vagina. And I was like, who looks at lips and thinks that? Or she like used the bathroom of like her principal's. She goes to her principal's house because she's friends with like the principal's son. She goes to the house and all of a sudden she's like going to the bathroom. She's like, my principal poops here. And I'm like, what? It was just like weird crudeness that I just like, it just didn't feel like it fit with the story. And the amount of references to her being overweight and Latino, like, didn't make sense to me. Like, obviously, like, I'm all for representation. It makes sense. But it was, like, random harps on it that, like, it felt like it was, like, trying to be diverse in the sense that it was, like, trying to make you know, like, she's another race. She's fat. You should know that. Like, it felt like it was, like, trying to poke you. Like, hey, look at me. Look it. And it was, like, it could have just been done in a way simpler way. Still being diverse, but not, like, weird about it. I don't know. It felt very young. And maybe that's why I don't like it, but it just wasn't what I wanted. And I feel bad, and I feel like people are going to hate me for that, but not for me. Then I listened to another audiobook, and I listened to November Road by Lou Burney, and this is set in the past. It is set in New Orleans, well, it starts in New Orleans, and Kennedy has just recently been assassinated, and this man finds out that he kind of knows too much about this assassination. He's in this, like, mob, and other people that also knew a lot about the assassination have started to turn up dead. So he's like, I'm next. They're going to kill me next. I need to get out of here. So he tries to take off for Las Vegas. And in the process, he bumps into a woman who is trying to leave her marriage. So it alternates between the perspectives of him. It alternates from the perspective of this woman who is trying to leave her marriage in Oklahoma and take her kids and just get as far away from her husband as possible. So she's kind of like running away. And the third perspective is this mob man who is trying to track this guy down because he is going to kill him. So he has every right to be running away. And I found like it was okay. I found myself easily swayed away from actually actively listening to the audiobook. I just found it to be, it was what it was. It wasn't something amazing. It wasn't something bad. It just kind of was. And I love the narrator though. He's really fun to listen to because he sounds like a little like old gangsta man. And it was really fun to listen to that. It, like, really puts you in the setting. So, I liked it. 3 stars. I didn't love it as much as I wanted to. And the last book that I read, and on a high note, is Hocus Pocus and the all-new sequel by someone. Forgot it doesn't say on the cover. A.W. Jantha. And I know that a lot of people have had some major, major problems with this book. And I kind of went into it knowing it was going to have problems and knowing it was really going to be one of those, like, nostalgia reading books that I tried to go into it knowing, like, Nicole, you are not allowed to critique the bejeebers out of this book. And I just had fun with it. And I think because I was able to just kind of, like, have fun with it and forget, like, this isn't going to be the best well-written book. This is not going to be something that, like, is going to probably become a movie. Like, it's not going to be something that I definitely want it to be. I was able to have fun with it, and I was able to give this 4 stars. Again, it's got its problems, so I can't give it 5 stars. Because it's just very middle grade and very young and very not my style. And I felt like things that occurred, I just feel like wouldn't go down the way they went down. The Hocus Pocus based off of the movie was really good. Obviously stayed very true to the movie. Like, I could pull out quotes and I was like, yes, this is in here. The characters, it felt like the characters in the movie. I like that we got a little bit more backstory with Binks, and his sister. And so I liked that perspective. And then the second part, the sequel, it was good. It was fun. I'm going to give it the 4th star because overall I felt like it was a 3-star read. But then, like, nostalgia factor, I think it bumped it up. I feel really weird, though, because I feel like every rating I've seen has been, like, 2 stars, 1 star. So I feel kind of bad liking it. But I'm going to like it anyways. So I enjoyed it. I had fun. So those are all the books that I read for the Spookathon. I hope you guys enjoyed. I've been enjoying watching everybody's videos and things like that. So if you've read any of these books or you participate in Spookathon, let me know down below, and I will see you guys very soon. Bye, everybody.